could not be happier with the Daryl Morey firing news. Like, honestly, I couldn't be happier. Like, there are only two people on planet Earth, at least in the sports world, that I would actively root for and advocate for them losing their jobs. That's Daryl Morey and Kevin Patullo. Daryl Morey, we got rid of Kevin Patullo already. Daryl Morey was next, and we finally got him out of there. Daryl Morey was honestly a cancer to the Sixers organization. He was a cancer. Like, he honestly did everything he could to hold this organization back from being great. From being great. Like, he was just in the way. There's like, this Sixers organization would have never been able to win a finals as long as Daryl Morey was in office. He didn't think big. He had a very he thought very small. He didn't understand the importance of maximizing young talent. You know, he didn't take advantage. He didn't do everything he could do to capitalize on Joel Embiid's prime years. I'm very glad that Daryl Morey is no longer in charge and running things for the Sixers as GM. Very glad. But honestly, I think the last straw for Daryl Morey, what really did it for Daryl Morey was trading Jared McCain. Like, the Jared McCain deal was the last straw for Daryl Morey. It was the last straw. Not that he simply traded Jared McCain, not that he traded Jared McCain away from what was a guard heavy team. It was the fact that he traded Jared McCain, a 20-point scorer, and got nothing in return that would have helped the Sixers win this year. That's what the issue was. If you're going to trade a 20-point scorer, a guy who really has the ceiling of a 30 to 35 point scorer, if you know, with a bulk load of minutes, if you're going to trade a guy like that away, get something else in return that can help your win now minded team win now. Like, why? Like, I don't understand why that's so difficult to comprehend. I don't understand why that's so difficult to comprehend. Like, Daryl Morey traded Jared McCain, a win now piece, for no win now assets in return. There's no way you should be trading a 20-point scorer like McCain, a guy who could grow to be a 30-point scorer with increased minutes. There's no way you should be trading that guy away and not getting any win now compensation in return, especially when your team is in a win now mindset, which is the mindset that the Sixers needed to have this year. Like, when you have a player like Joel Embiid, an MVP caliber player who was barely holding himself together physically in the playoffs, you need win now assets. You need to be of the mindset to win now. Like, future picks don't help the Sixers win now. Future picks would not have helped the Sixers beat the Knicks in the playoffs this year. Future picks would not have helped the Sixers beat the Celtics in the playoffs this year. You need win now assets on a team that is in the mindset to win now, on a team that needs to win now. And when you have a player like Joel Embiid, who is your best player, you are in win now mode. You are in win now mode. You cannot trade away a 20-point scorer for future draft capital. You cannot trade away a 20-point scorer and not bring in additional assets, or at least one asset in exchange that could come in and make an immediate impact, helping your team to win now and contend for a finals, the same way McCain has made an immediate impact for the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's no excuse for that. Like, bro, Daryl Morey traded away a 20-point score. Not only did he trade away a 20-point score, he traded away a 20-point scorer to the reigning champs in the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that already had no weaknesses prior to the Jared McCain trade. But not only did he trade away a 20-point scorer in Jared McCain to the reigning champs, to the best team in the NBA, he traded away a 20-point scorer to the best team in the NBA and got no win now assets in return. Got no assets that could have helped the Sixers win this year. Got no assets that would have helped the Sixers beat the Knicks in the playoffs, at least prevent a sweep. Got no assets that would have helped the Sixers beat the Celtics in fewer than 7 games. Got no assets that would have helped the Sixers avoid the play-in and get a higher seed in the playoffs, possibly seeing a Detroit Pistons team or a Cavs team as opposed to the Celtics and the Knicks. Like, that's honestly The more you peel back the layers of this Jared McCain trade, it just gets dumber and dumber and dumber, which is why that was the last straw for Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey signed his own termination papers with that Jared McCain trade. Signed his own papers with it. Like, honestly, Joel Embiid, and that's honestly why Joel Embiid was upset. Like, Joel Embiid had every right to be upset at Daryl Morey after the Jared McCain trade. He had every right because Joel Embiid knows Jared McCain is a win now piece off the bench. He is a 20-point scorer off the bench. Exactly what he's doing right now for the Thunder, he could have been doing for the Sixers with time. Joel Embiid had every right to be upset because he also knows that he doesn't have much longer to play, at least in Philly, as opposed to the NBA. He doesn't have much longer to play with this squad. He knows that he's barely holding himself together with duct tape and super glue. Daryl Morey honestly wasted Joel Embiid's time, wasted his talent by trading away Jared McCain. Because you trade away, because when you have a player like Joel Embiid, especially who is your best player, when Joel Embiid is your best player, your team is in win now mode. Because Joel Embiid obviously is an MVP guy in the regular season. He's an MVP guy when healthy, but his body, just the wear and tear, he's not 100 to, he's not even 90% healthy in the playoffs. We're lucky if we get a 75-80% version of Joel Embiid in the postseason. We need all of the talent that we can get, all of the support that we can get to help sort of reinforce and fill those gaps in for Joel Embiid. We need as much talent as we can to surround Joel Embiid with if we want to get to the finals, if we want to advance through the playoffs. That means the Sixers with Joel Embiid as their best player are in win now mode. Daryl Morey's Jared McCain trade, it contradicts that mindset. Daryl Morey trading away Jared McCain for no win now assets in exchange, it contradicts the win now mindset when you trade a 20-point scorer, a guy who can score 20 points today, for assets that can't help us until next year or the season after that or the season after that. That in no way helps Joel Embiid. So honestly, Daryl Morey's Jared McCain trade wasted Joel Embiid. It was a waste of Joel Embiid's. It was a waste of Joel Embiid's load management schedule this year. It was a waste of all of the work Joel Embiid did to make sure that he would be available in the playoffs this year. It was just a waste. It was a waste. And honestly, the Jared McCain trade was stupid. It was stupid. Not because it was a trade involving Jared McCain, but because we didn't get anything in exchange for McCain that would have helped us win now. Like, I was in favor of trading McCain. I was in favor of trading Jared McCain away from a team that was already guard heavy. Jared McCain, it didn't seem like Jared McCain was able to consistently produce for the Sixers team while Maxey and VJ were doing their thing. It didn't seem like those three could really play together, especially when you throw Quentin Grimes into that mix. I would have preferred to keep Jared McCain as opposed to trading him for what we got in exchange. Like, if I had to choose between keeping Jared McCain and trading him for what we ended up getting for him, I would keep Jared McCain because Jared McCain can learn to play with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe with time. Team chemistry takes time. It takes time to develop. Like, if you think about it, none of these guys have played a full season together. Like, Tyrese Maxey hasn't played a full season with Jared McCain because Tyrese Maxey got hurt. And then, of course, Jared McCain ended up getting hurt later in the season. Jared McCain hasn't played a full season with VJ Edgecombe, obviously, because VJ Edgecombe is a rookie. This was his first year. These three guys have never had a full season to play together. It's going to take time for those three guards to learn how to play winning basketball together. Like, just naturally, Maxey and VJ Edgecombe's game mesh better together naturally. You know, Maxey is obviously Maxey is a scorer, facilitator, playmaker. Offense can run through him. VJ Edgecombe is a two-way guard that can play defense, that can play off ball. You know, they complement each other well. Jared McCain doesn't naturally complement Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, but he could with time because of his shooting ability, because of his ability to play off ball, because of his ability to handle the rock when he needs to. If I could go back, I would definitely, like, I'm not saying trading Jared McCain was the problem. It was not getting anything in return that would be more of a natural fit, more of a natural complement, a schematic complement to Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe in this offense. So if I could choose between just keeping Jared McCain and trading Jared McCain for future draft picks, I would keep Jared McCain. I would keep Jared McCain because he would have eventually learned how to play with Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Those three would have eventually learned how to play together, how to play winning basketball together. Like, honestly, what made it even worse, like, not only did Daryl Morey get himself fired by trading Jared McCain away for chips and dip, the run that Jared McCain has been on since leaving Philly is also what got Daryl Morey fired. The run he's been on since leaving Philly, like, this guy since leaving Philly has been a consistent 20-point scorer. He's racked up the highest 3-point percentage in NBA playoff history with 54%. Like, and then, like, you look, like, that's production that the Sixers could have used this year. Like, you look at the Sixers in the playoffs alone, the Sixers had 8 playoff losses this year that were by 10 or more points. The Sixers lost 8 playoff games this year by 10 or more points out of 11 games. That's 10 losses out of 11 games. You don't think we could have used we could have definitely used a 20-point scorer off the bench like Jared McCain in those games. Having a 20-point scorer in those games changes everything. Like, honestly, not only did trading Jared McCain away get Daryl Morey fired, but it was also the run Jared McCain went on after leaving Philly that got Daryl Morey fired. Like, since leaving Philly, Jared McCain has been a consistent 20-point scorer, and he's racked up the highest 3-point percentage of any player in NBA history, in NBA postseason history. A 54% 3-point percentage. So not only did trading Jared McCain away get Daryl Morey fired, it was the fact that Jared McCain went on a crazy run after getting traded that got Daryl Morey fired. It was Jared McCain's post-Philly run that also got Daryl Morey fired. Just added salt to the wound. Since leaving Philly, this guy has been a consistent 20-point scorer and has racked up the highest 3-point percentage in NBA playoff history with 54%. Like, if you look at the Sixers past playoff games this year, the Sixers lost 8 playoff games this year by 10 or more points. By 10 or more points. Double-digit figures. That's out of 11 games. We definitely could have used a 20-point scorer like Jared McCain off the bench in those games. If we have a 20-point scorer like Jared McCain off the bench in those games specifically, this entire playoff run is different. This entire playoff run for the Sixers is different, and the Sixers honestly probably beat the Knicks. We beat the Knicks if we have a 20-point scorer like Jared McCain coming off the bench. 1,000%. Like, honestly, the only thing that would have saved Daryl Morey from getting fired is if we made the finals. That would have been the only thing. Like, all of the questionable roster decisions, all of the questionable roster moves that Daryl Morey has made, from trading away Matisse Thybulle for a guy who is no longer in the NBA, from giving a max contract to an injury-prone guy in Paul George who hardly played any games for the Clippers, from waiting too long to really pull the trigger on Embiid, from trading McCain to then trading McCain. The only thing that would have saved Daryl Morey's job would have been making the finals. Not only did we not make the finals, we lost to a Knicks team that on paper was not better than us. Like, we lost to a Knicks team on paper that was not more talented than us. Like, bro, not only did we lose to a Knicks team that was not better than us, we lost in not 7 games, not 6 games, not 5 games. We lost in 4. We got swept by the Knicks. So not only did the Sixers not make the finals, we lost to a team that was not better than us, that is not better than us on paper. Not only did we lose to a team that is not better than us on paper, we lost to a team, to that team that is not better than us in 4 games, 4 consecutive games. The only thing that would have saved Daryl Morey's job, that would have kept him from getting fired, is if we made the finals. But we not only didn't make the finals, we lost to a Knicks team that on paper was not better than us. A Sixers team that has an MVP in Joel Embiid, an MVP candidate in Tyrese Maxey, a rookie of the year candidate in VJ Edgecombe, all the talent in between, a finals coach, a finals winning coach in Nick Nurse. We lost to a Knicks team that was not better than us on paper. But not only did we lose to a team that was not better than us, we lost to a team that was not better than us in 4 games. Not 7 games, not 6 games, not 5 games. We got swept. They brought the brooms out on us. But not only did we get swept, we got booted off the court. We got booted off our own court. We got 30 balled in our own house. We made the team that is not better than us on paper look like the 2017 Warriors. The way they were moving the ball around, the way they were not missing from the 3-point line in the first half. We made the New York Knicks look like the 2017 Golden State Warriors with prime Steph, prime Clay, KD, Draymond Green. So there's like, we not only didn't make the finals, we also lost in an embarrassing fashion. There was no way Daryl Morey was not getting fired after this year. There was no way. There was no way. And honestly, when I look at Daryl Morey's worst roster moves, there's 4 moves that come to mind. 4 moves that come to mind. 4, trading Matisse Thybulle for a guy that's not in the league anymore. Trading one of the league's premier perimeter defenders, who still remains that level of that caliber of a guy in today right now. Still that caliber of defender. Traded that guy away for someone who is in the G League. Number 3, not trading Joel Embiid when we should have. Not trading Joel Embiid while we could have still gotten something for him, while he was still enough of a sell where a team would be willing to take on that contract. Number 2, giving a max contract to an injury-prone Paul George who hardly played any games for the Clippers whatsoever. And then 1, trading Jared McCain away for chips and dip, for no assets that could have helped the Sixers win this year. Those, to me, are the top 4 worst Daryl Morey roster moves during his tenure with the Sixers. Trading Matisse Thybulle away for nothing. Not trading Joel Embiid earlier. Overpaying Paul George. And trading away Jared McCain. Trading away 2 guys that could have helped the Sixers win a finals. And being responsible for 2 of the 2 worst contracts in the NBA. Those are Daryl Morey's worst roster moves during his time with the Sixers. And honestly, all of those to me are fireable offenses. And honestly, Daryl Morey held Joel Embiid back from being a champion. Daryl Morey is the reason why Joel Embiid, in many people's minds, will not go down as one of the best centers to ever play the game. Daryl Morey is the reason why. Because of Daryl Morey, Joel Embiid was not in a position to seriously contend for a championship. He was not. If Joel Embiid had Boston's front office instead of Daryl Morey, if Joel Embiid had a Brad Stevens instead of a Daryl Morey, Joel Embiid is a champion. Joel Embiid is a champion for sure. Like, we're talking like if Joel Embiid had a Brad Stevens, the guy who, having a star player in Jason Tatum, drafted Jaylen Brown, acquired Al Horford, acquired Drew Holiday, shored up bench players, shored up talent off the bench, and developed talent off the bench, and guys like Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Sam Hauser, Baylor Shireman, Luka Garza, acquiring a Vucevic. If Joel Embiid had a Brad Stevens, if Joel Embiid had Boston's front office, Joel Embiid would be a champion. Joel Embiid would be a champion. Like, Brad Stevens is a better talent developer than Daryl Morey. He's a better trader than Daryl Morey. He's a better drafter than Daryl Morey. He's a better overall businessman than Daryl Morey. Just an overall better roster constructor than Daryl Morey. If Joel Embiid had Boston's front office, he would be a champion. He'd be a champion. But instead, he had Daryl Morey, which means he'll likely never win a finals. If Joel Embiid had a Brad Stevens instead of a Daryl Morey, he'd be a champion 1000%. But honestly, I'm just super glad Bob Myers is in office right now. Honestly, with Bob Myers in office, I wouldn't mind if Josh Harris and that front office dragged their feet in terms of finding another GM, a replacement permanent GM. Because with Bob Myers in there, we're honestly good. Like, the Sixers are in good shape right now. The fact that Bob Myers is even an interim GM for the squad, even an interim GM for the squad. We're talking about the guy that constructed the Golden State Warriors dynasty, one of the greatest basketball teams to ever play the sport. That's the guy who is calling the shots right now for the Sixers. I'm honestly good with Bob Myers in there. I'm honestly good if Josh Harris and the front office drag their feet in this search for a new permanent GM because of how much I trust Bob Myers. Like, I'm honestly good just leaving Bob Myers in there. Like, and I can only assume, though, that Bob Myers doesn't want the role permanently, because if he did, there's no way Josh Harris would not just give him the job on the spot. Like, if Bob Myers told Josh Harris today, hey, I want the job, there's no way Josh Harris isn't giving him the job right now, this second. So I have reason to believe Bob Myers doesn't want the job permanently. But honestly, I'm honestly hoping Josh Harris and the crew take their time in this search, just so that we can have Bob Myers in that role for as long as possible. As long as possible. But honestly, something else I'm happy at too, I'm really glad that Nick Nurse did not get scapegoated for Daryl Morey's shortcomings. I'm honestly glad Daryl Morey got fired and Nick Nurse is still in his position as head coach for the Sixers, because honestly, Nick Nurse was never the problem for the Sixers team. It was Daryl Morey. Nick Nurse was never the issue for the squad. He was never the issue. The problem was Daryl Morey. Like, Nick Nurse is a much better head coach than Daryl Morey was as a GM. Like, Nick Nurse, if anyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's Nick Nurse. Like, Nick Nurse, he's a proven leader of men. He is a proven talent developer. He's a proven talent maximizer, and he's a proven champion. Like, you can see, like, all of this is fact. Like, he's a proven maximizer of talent. He won a championship with Kawhi Leonard. He's a proven talent developer. You can see that in Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. Like, he's a proven champion, winning the finals in 2021, or in 2019, excuse me. Nick Nurse is a proven asset to a basketball team. Nick Nurse is a much better head coach than Daryl Morey was a GM. So I'm honestly glad Nick Nurse did not get scapegoated 1000%. Honestly, Daryl Morey is the Kevin Patullo of basketball. Daryl Morey is the Kevin Patullo of basketball. Like, Daryl Morey and Kevin Patullo were the biggest obstacles to their respective team. Kevin Patullo was the biggest obstacle to the Eagles, just like Daryl Morey was the biggest obstacle to the Sixers. It wasn't the Celtics. It wasn't the Knicks. It wasn't the Cavs, not the Raptors, not the Magic, not the Pistons. The biggest obstacle to the Sixers was Daryl Morey. It was Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey did more to hold the Sixers back than he did to progress them and help them get to that stage. Just like Kevin Patullo did more to hold that offense back in Philly than he did to get them to a Super Bowl. Kevin Patullo was a bigger obstacle to the Eagles than any other team in the conference, just like Daryl Morey was for the Sixers. So I'm super glad he's out of there. Can't wait to see what this team looks like next year. You know, I mean, who really knows at this point? But I can't wait to see the moves that Bob Myers makes while he is in office. That's what gives me faith moving forward for what the Sixers team can be in the future, even with a deteriorating Joel Embiid. But that's all we got for today's edition of No Shame with Shane. If you haven't already, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms, and I'll be back later on with more shameless takes.